All right, so I think I've got pretty much everyone in here, so I'll begin the meeting. Um, so hello again, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm here with my cousin Samael or Musa, um, and he's going to be asking us questions from the community throughout the meeting.
My name is Samal Shahid. Like I said, some of you know me as Musa. I'm an executive from the communication department at Sajida. I'm also Sid's elder brother. I'll be peppering him with questions today. So, Sid, I think you're set to go.
Yes. So this is our agenda for today. Uh, we're going to be pretty brief with all of our activities. Um, so I'll begin with our foundation. So since 2015, the goal of Team Adhunika Jr. has been to support the street children of Bangladesh through the Amar Manush project. The Amar Manush project provides rehabilitation services for the children, and they have several pavement dweller centers for the children. And they're taken care of and provided with the services listed here. So throughout the 5 years of Team Adhunika Jr., we've had 23 events, and we've been able to expand our support for the children significantly.
All right, Sid. One of the questions we received asked if you can describe the services supported by Team Adhunika Jr., provided by Amra Manush.
Yes. So the first service is nutrition support. That is a service that provides cooked meals for the children, and it follows the guidelines of a nutritionist. It's based off of each child, and it's a daily program. The next service is listed as school supplies and dress, and this helps pay for school supplies like books, clothing, school admission fees, and other fees regarding school. The next two are child safeguarding awareness and psychosocial awareness. Um, and these are sessions that promote the welfare of children at home with abuse or domestic violence, and it helps, or it tries to help reduce the negative impact of crisis situations. The fifth one is tutorial support. That is support for academic and computer skills that are not covered in school to help better prepare them for the future. And lastly, we have a cultural support, which is kind of the humanities area of Amar Manush, where children receive visual arts, drama, and historical education.
Okay, I have a follow-up question asked by a friend of Adhunika. So what does a typical day for a child look like at the PDC?
So right now we've kind of changed how we provide these services due to the pandemic, so it's a lot more decentralized. But during regular scheduling, the children tend to receive some of the services like nutritional support and school supply, dress support, and daily. Whereas services like the cultural support and tutorial support happen on a larger scale, so it's for a few days at a time. Um, the center runs 24/7 or all days of the week, and if a child needs to stay beyond conventional closing times, they can for whatever reason.
Okay, so this is a recurring question we have received. It asks about how many children you support, and could you show them the information on that?
Yes. So I'll start off with the first and second years here. We started off supporting 23 school-going children in one center. And during the second fiscal year, we were able to support another center, bringing us to a collective 40 children. At that point, we continued furthering our support in the third and fourth fiscal years, but I'll hold off on that for now.
All right, the next question is on fundraising, and specifically on how much you've needed to raise and what challenges came with that.
For the first fiscal year, first and second, we had to raise 4,600, and while we were able to successfully raise those amounts, it was a bit of a turbulent process at that point because we weren't as familiar with the fundraising process. Fortunately, one of the big helps to us was the Minnesota Fundraising Team as another charter, and we were able to expand the reach of fundraisers in the US, and they helped us to reach our main goal.
Okay, all right. So you mentioned that you received help from the Minnesota team, which allowed you to expand your impact. This brings me to the next question. How have you been able to grow and develop as a project?
We've had several events in person like this one, which includes members of the Minnesota team here. And another one of the big ways we've grown is through online fundraising. This was a very big surge in our third fiscal year when we began this practice. We hosted our first fundraising event on Facebook, which is the Valentine's campaign, and we learned a lot of things from that experience. Pretty much, we learned that we have more time to raise funds during one campaign, and we have a larger reach as it's on the internet. And if you look here, we had a goal of $6,000, and we were able to reach almost twice as much because of online fundraising. And compared to the last series of fundraisers where we had many in-person events, we had a lot more online presence this fiscal year, and that accounted for nearly half of or over half of the yearly goal.
So how did the growth in fundraising influence the impact on the children?
So we were able to expand another like some of our programs like the awareness sessions, and cultural support was expanded. We partnered with another group called Cartoon People, and they were able to lead certain art seminars with the children. We also started supporting another PDC with the additional 3,000 that we had remaining, and yeah, that was kind of our like larger impact that year.
So this is a very important question. How do you establish the principles of equity in your work?
That is a very good question. So Team Adhunika Jr. and Amr Manush recognize that, the reality is that many people are already placed in a much more unfair situation than others. So they require more assistance. And the children are all individual people who have their own needs, and that will differ from person to person. So we try our best to make sure everyone's needs are accommodated without letting anyone slip by.
Right. So we're moving on to another section of this event. So with this section, I wanted to quickly address some of the community's questions regarding COVID-19 and your activity last year. So one of the questions we have received is, how has COVID impacted the project, and what new approaches did the project take to overcome the challenges due to COVID?
So I'm gonna pass on this question to some of the members at Amr Manush. So Maruf Baya, if you want to talk about this, you can.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Sid, for giving me the flow. All right. Yes. COVID has impacted a lot from Manush. In fact, everything. COVID impacted every single thing in Bangladesh and around the globe. So, starting from আমাদের যেটা ছিল যে লাইক বাংলাদেশে মার্চে 2020 মার্চ থেকে বেসিক্যালি কোভিড প্রপারলি একদম পুরোপুরি শুরু হয়ে যায়, এন্ড তখন থেকে লকডাউন শুরু হয়ে যায়। Due to lockdown, it's really hard to manage all the PDC because আমাদের সবার ওয়ার্ক ফ্রম হোম ছিল, and at the same time আমরা সেন্টারগুলো প্রপারলি রান করতে পারছিলাম না, যে স্কুল কলেজ ইউনিভার্সিটি সবকিছু শাট ডাউন। So like the kids were used to with the PDC and all its services, so বাসা থেকে আসলে অপারেট করাটা টাফ ছিল। তো আমরা আমাদের ইনিশিয়েটিভ গুলোকে দুইটা ডিফারেন্ট পার্টে ভাগ করে নিই, একটা ছিল এমার্জেন্সি এন্ড পরেরটা পোস্ট রিহ্যাবিলিটেশন। তো স্টার্টিং উইথ দ্য এমার্জেন্সি, ফার্স্টে আমরা কিছু লিফলেট ডিস্ট্রিবিউশন করি টু বিল্ড অ্যাওয়ারনেস এন্ড ওভার ফোন conversation with the beneficiaries and the kids, যে what is COVID and what's going on, মানে how to get rid of this. So এসব নিয়ে একটা অ্যাওয়ারনেস বিল্ড আপ করা হয় ফার্স্ট অফ অল। দেন উই started setting up different That's a kind of innovative thing. It's called portable hand washing devices. So we put these portable hand washing devices in different parts of Dhaka, especially in the side of different slums, so that the people living there, most of our beneficiaries, who can access for the proper hand washing. So because it's a very important thing during COVID. And after that, we started distributing food and hygiene packs. So from our fundraising department, we raised, kind of amount of money, and all of our donors who directly donated food and hygiene packs. These are kind of packs which includes, like rice, lentil, at the same time, like a mask, soap. So this we call a food and hygiene packages for a whole family to survive with. So we distributed this in different parts of Dhaka, Chittagong, and other areas also. And after that, we started distributing cooked meals for the only for the kids, especially during the Ramadan. We provided 3 meals a day for the especially for the kids. And after that, we started, planning for the rehabilitation, how we can make this sustainable. So we did a survey from our research team and other staff of Sajida. And from the survey, we found what's their actual needs and what they want and which can make them, a very good condition. They can work again and do their business. So we found and we started providing cash grant service. So it's an amount of 3,000 taka for each family, to restart reopen their businesses again. So like many of our beneficiaries were, say, working in different small restaurants, on they have their own small business to reopen their business. So we provided this amount of grants, and we regularly follow up them. They start their business again or not. And also for our staff, as it was really hard to work in this COVID situation, as we have dedicated COVID hospital. So we provided regular follow-up and check-up, and especially who got infected from COVID, we provided free treatment for our staff also. And like so overall it was okay, but still there were lots of challenges, and এখনো বাংলাদেশে স্কুল কলেজ ইউনিভার্সিটি সবকিছু বন্ধ। তো প্রপারলি আমাদের পিডিসি গুলো, লাইক স্পেশালি দ্য ডে কেয়ার অর কমিউনিটি এডুকেশন প্রপারলি রান করতে পারছি না, সবগুলো বাসা থেকেই চলছে। তো হোপফুলি বাই এপ্রিল সবকিছু খুলে গেলে দেন হয়তো আমরা আবার প্রপারলি আগের জায়গায় ফিরে যেতে পারবো। থ্যাংক ইউ।
Thank you very much for your input. Right now, I want to discuss some of our plans for the future and open up the meeting to the audience very soon. So tomorrow we start our Valentine's fundraising campaign that we hold every year, and I'd like to go over some of our finances very quickly. Right here, we have a very comprehensive breakdown of the funds, and we're looking to raise $6,000 to support 3 centers with 100 children involved. I'll discuss kind of what we do throughout the Valentine's campaign. It's 2 weeks of online campaigning on Facebook and other social media platforms, and it's kind of growing the net and seeing that we've grown the network of Adhunika Jr. We're gonna try to raise all $6,000 during this campaign. And before we get into the open discussion, I'll put up this graphic of all 5 years. Well, it says 4 years, but it was throughout 5 years of how much we've raised compared to how much we needed to raise. So we had a bit of a uptick during our 3rd fiscal year, which allowed us to expand our work and continue working with Amar Manush. And I'll open up the room for open discussion. So if anyone has any questions, just private chat me, or you can unmute and just speak out loud. And also, Musa, if you want, you can check the questions document and ask questions from there.
Sorry, I wasn't mute. I didn't realize. I kept on talking. Anyways, I had I had one question for Maupai. So I think there's a very important question. So, can you tell me the emotional impact that COVID had on these children?
Yes, sure. কোভিড has impacted a lot basically. So প্রথম থেকে যদি বলি যে আমাদের বাচ্চারা যারা ডে কেয়ারে থাকে তারা তো 2 to 6 years of age, তো একদমই ছোট। তো
Shagoto,
তাদেরকে
can you just keep it in English because there are a few people who are here.
all
Thank you so much.
All right, sure. So most of the kids are 2 to 6 years of age. So it's really hard to show them the impact of COVID, and from staying at home, they can operate properly, and they're used to with our PDC services. So it's really hard to provide every service from their home, and our staff are also at their home. And also our other kids who are like taking community education, they are 6+, so mostly 7 to 14, 15 years of age, and few of their parents are thinking like it's kind of a burden for them, and many of them getting married in a quick age. So overall, from Bangladesh side, government had a survey recently, and they found that child marriage increased a lot during this COVID. And also, many people are started working their past jobs, they are starting living in the street again. And yes, our staff are working, like they are visiting regularly their houses where they are living, and also over phone, following up them regularly to catch up with them, counseling with their families, with their parents, directly with the kids. And we're hoping that within next 1-2 months, when schools, colleges, universities, everything will open again, and they will come back to our PDCs. But yeah, maybe we'll lose few of them because due to sudden dropouts, and few of them also, all right, few of them also went to their past houses in the villages, and unfortunately we had a devastating flood few months back, so it's also impacted them. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Shagatu bhai. I can't let you go. I have to ask you a few more questions. So, can you tell us the process of accepting the children into the program?
Yeah, sure. So the process is very simple. Like we have a criteria, like any beneficiary, they have to stay in a particular place for at least 3 months. So if they stay in one place for at least 3 months, we will do a survey, or staff will do a survey, and we have a enrollment form. From this, we can enroll a whole family, not only a child, but a whole family. Like the kid can stay at our PDC if he or she is 2 to 6 years of age, and if he is above 6, they take our informal education, as well as computer education, and also they can we have a program like we enroll the kids in the school, and our staff helping them to do the homework, and also the mother, she can stay at our PDC at night, which we call the night children facility, and also a few of our trainings and other things. Very simple. We just for kids, we look for the kids who have at least one family. Like also if they doing a business or something, so we like to assist them to start this business again in a broader aspect, and for this we provide training, grant service, whatnot. So yeah, thank you.
I have yet more questions for you. So,
sure.
What is the age range of the children at the PDC that Team Adhunika Jr is supporting?
All right. So basically, in the daycare, we have kids starting from 2 to 6 years of age, and for computer education, we have kids who are above 6 years of age. We call them, graduated from daycare. So they are 6 plus, so mostly 7 to 14 or 15 max. Okay. Yeah.
And I think this will be my last question for you. What is the age for the children to be moved to a different program?
Okay, like what I say, like for the small kids, like 2 to 6 for daycare, and after that they started going to the formal schooling and also taking computer education. So 6 to 14 or 15. Then after 15 or 16, we can, we have a different, livelihood advocacy program. So they can take services from there and start their own business. So after 16, and obviously he or she needs to be at least 18 to start a business, going to for job or anything according to Bangladesh law. And so after 18, they can start their business and taking service from Amra Manush, and also they can take can be a beneficiary of our microfinance program. They can take loan from there and start their business from that. We have few of our members from Amra Manush, they've been to Amra Manush at the beginning, and now they're a beneficiary of Sajida's microfinance program, doing business, and then they're doing very well. Thank you.
Again, I was on mute. Thank you, Marupay. I think I'm done with my questions.
Right.
I will pass it on to Sid.
Yes. So I got a question in the chat asking how the specifics of our goal this year. I'll move back a few slides just to open up the breakdown again. So the majority of our funding is going towards nutritional support, as that is the daily service for all the children. And I think a good number to use to put in your head is $11 a month per child. And that is the amount that we need. And I'll leave it up here because a lot of people want to see a bit more. I don't have any other questions in the chat, so if anyone else wants to jump in, just let me know.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Hi, Siddhartha. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you.
2 quick questions. A, have you done ever a project impact assessment? Independent project impact assessment, that's number 1. And number 2, can you give me 1 or 2 examples of success stories of individuals that have benefited from your program, and look, this is what has happened to him or her?
So some of our, we did do we received an impact assessment report from Amranush in the past, but it was for not adults. It was still like the older children. And the second question, success stories. I think I'll ask Maruf for this if there's any that comes to his head. Do you want to unmute?
Yeah. Sorry, can you repeat the question, please?
So he's asking for like 1 or 2 success stories for the children.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there are plenty of success stories. Like one of our child is Jorina, I think, from our Maniknagar center. So she been to our daycare when their parents divorced maybe a few years back, and she was with her mother. Her mother in different household work, and she stayed our PDC payment developer at the very beginning. And after 5, when she completed her PDC time and started going to school and also taking part in different cultural activities of Sajida Samramanus program. At the same time, took computer education. Now she's 14, and she's a very good dancer. So most of the programs of Sajida, she participated. Also, she participated in the microfinance program, different microfinance conventions in different parts of Bangladesh. And she's very known not only at Abra Manus, overall at overall Sajida. So she's doing great. She's now in class 8, I think. So, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Marufaya.
Sid, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Actually, this is from Marufai. So the daycare, is it the primary purpose of the daycare so that the parents can work during the daytime?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there's a very big problem here in Bangladesh. Like, if the parents want to work, so where they will put their kids, especially the people, you know, the kind of disadvantaged people who live in the, or you know, in the streets or in the, different shelters near railway station and this kind of areas. So it's really hard to put their kids for the day long and in a, household work or doing business. So in the morning, they put their kids at our center and they go for their jobs, and their kids stay at our PDC. We provide them nutrition support and other different, different small, trainings like how to wash your hands, how to, this kind of things. And after that, their parents mostly come back in the afternoon or evening, and some of them took their kids with them, and who don't have proper shelter, some of their mothers also stayed with them at the PDC at night. So we call them a night shelter facility. But their father can stay at the PDC. They can take different service in the daytime, but at night, mom with their kids, they can stay. Thanks.
Thank you.
If I may ask a question. Yeah.
Yes, go for it.
Yeah, first of all, it's just so inspirational. So thank you so much for you and everybody else working on here in both in Bangladesh and here. So thank you so much. If funding was not a constraint, like what would you want to do if you were not constrained by funding?
That's a very good question. I've talked about this with the Amramanish team in the past, but one of the things I want to establish in the future, if we are able to raise more funds, is this index of children who've been through the system. So we have a better idea of what their situation is after they leave the program. And this kind of registry for children, so it's easier for them to re-enter. Another thing I wanted to do was establish centers in more rural areas. These are urban areas, urban pavement dweller centers. And while we're still doing great work here, like the children, it would be a nicer or a bit more rewarding to also help out these the children in rural areas, because they often can't get any further job opportunities outside of that area. I think that's the two things I've really talked about with them if we had more funding.
So on the specific, if I may ask a follow-up question, the registry, I can see how it can, I think Mr. Hassan Further said, asked the question, I think it will definitely help you with the impact, but what about the kids? How do they benefit? Can you help me understand how the kids benefit from the registry?
So basically it would help us find if we know that a child is in a problematic situation, it will be easier for us to intervene if we have kind of a vague idea of what their situation was when we left them. And we would also be able to re-enroll students a lot easier if they left the program at one point and they want to rejoin. And there's a few reasons the registry would make operating Amramanish a bit easier. It would just have a certain information set for the staff and for people wanting to rejoin or just get involved with family members. It would also help there.
Yeah, understand. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes. All right, so I'm gonna stop the share very quickly.
Hi, Sid. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Bina calling from Australia. Well done to Team Adhunika Jr. and Project Amra Manush for your fabulous work. Sid, I have a question for you and perhaps also for Maruf. In terms of your child safeguarding programs, have you thought of or are you doing anything on children's digital safety in Bangladesh? As far as I understand, there's a bit of gap in that kind of work about how children could what's the kind of responsible and respectful behavior when using online technology, and how they understand the importance of being safe and respectful while learning and having fun online. So I'm just wondering if you have any program in relation to that, or are you thinking of expanding in that area? Over to you.
Um, so one of the programs that we have in that area is tutorial support, which advances the computing skills of the children. And I know they talk about computer safety there, but mainly is understanding how to work the software. Um, Marify, if you do you know if there's a specific program for computer safety or?
Like we have a guideline, to how to teach the kids, especially we have a group of kids like 4 to 5, for computer education, and they have a particular outline. So what will be the things to be covered by a day, and especially what things should but what are the important things to learn for our kids. Not everything we are providing from the center, because our staff are doing this job, but the main important things, how to start a computer, how to stop a computer, and few things like how to start a video, how to paint in the computer, and few other things we basically discussed during this session. And for safeguarding as a whole, if I say, Sajida is working really hard to maintain proper safeguarding in every project of Sajida. So as Amar Manoj is a part of Sajida, so we're also working here properly, and our staffs are properly trained, to maintain the safeguarding procedures properly. So yeah, thanks.
Hi, I'm Farita. I'm also working at Sajida with the fundraising team as well. You can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I just wanted to add, in relation to digital safeguarding, we're also working on child safeguarding awareness, and this is something which we are going to also. We're continuing. This is how do I put it? Like as Maruf said, it's already. This is taken very seriously at Sajida. So, but going forward, we plan to utilize some of the funds for Team Adhunika Jr. for, have sessions. It's done, but to do this more in the sense, for parents and children to educate them on their welfare, and to prevent harm for their health and development, raise awareness for early marriages, child abuse, domestic violence, and among others. This is mostly done overall to make them aware that this is an issue, because many are not even aware, the children or the parents, that this this is a form of abuse. So just to add my 2 cents to it.
Thank you for your input. So that's our response, Binakala, for you. Okay. Oh, and one more thing. We have a few videos from members of Sajida Foundation that we'd like to show. I think Samael has them.
Just give me a minute.
Okay.
Load them. All right, I'll be sharing my screen.
আমার নাম সামিয়া। ছোটবেলা যখন মা কাজে চলে যেত তখন আমি বাসায় একা থাকতাম। একা থাকতে আমার খুব খারাপ লাগতো। মাঝে মধ্যে ক্ষুধা পেলে না খেয়েও থাকতাম। তারপর সাজিদা ফাউন্ডেশন থেকে একটা আপা আসলো, এসে আমার আম্মুর সাথে কথা বলল। কথা বলার পর আমাকে একটা সেন্টারে নিয়ে গেল। সেন্টারে গিয়ে আমি দেখলাম আমার মতো অনেকেই আছে। ওখানকার আপারা আমাকে মায়ের মতো আদর করত, খাবার খেতে দিত, পড়াশোনা করতে দিত, খেলাধুলা করতাম, আবার মজার মজার ছবিও আঁকতাম। যতক্ষণ আম্মু বাসায় না আসতো ততক্ষণ আমি ওখানেই থাকতাম।
আধুনিকা জুনিয়র মূলত পথবাসী এবং বস্তিবাসী বাচ্চাদেরকে বিভিন্ন রকম ফ্যাসিলিটি দিয়ে থাকে। তার মধ্যে একটা হচ্ছে যেমন স্কুল গোয়িং বাচ্চাদের টিউটোরিয়াল সাপোর্ট, তারপরে হচ্ছে আপনার কম্পিউটার এডুকেশন, তারপরে ফুড অ্যান্ড নিউট্রিশন, বিভিন্ন রকম অ্যাওয়ারনেস সেশন আমরা নিয়ে থাকি। তো এখানে আমাদের মেইন ফোকাসটা হচ্ছে যে পথবাসী এবং বস্তিবাসী যে বাচ্চারা এরা হচ্ছে বিভিন্ন রকমের সুবিধা থেকে বঞ্চিত এবং তারা জানেও না যে আসলে দেখা যাচ্ছে যে ওরা পথে থেকে ওরা বাবা মায়েরা যা করতো তারাও তাই করবে, এটাই হচ্ছে তাদের এইম থাকে। তো আমাদের উদ্দেশ্য হচ্ছে যে আমরা সেন্টারে নিয়ে এসে তাদেরকে আমাদের তত্ত্বাবধানে লেখাপড়া শেখানো, বিভিন্ন ট্রেনিং দেওয়া, অ্যাওয়ারনেস সেমিনারগুলোর মাধ্যমে তাদের জীবনযাত্রার মানটাকে উন্নতি করে এবং একটা সময়ে যেন তারা ওই বাবা মায়ের ওই জীবনযাত্রা থেকে বের হয়ে এসে নিজের একটা পরিচয় যাতে তারা গড়তে পারে বা নিজের পায়ে দাঁড়াইতে পারে, সমাজে যাতে প্রতিষ্ঠিত হতে পারে, এইটা হচ্ছে আমাদের মানে গোল, আমাদের এইম এটা।
আমি বড় হয়ে ডাক্তার হতে চাই। আমার মতো যারা আছে তাদের আমি বিনা টাকায় চিকিৎসা করতে চাই।
Sid, do you want me to play the message from the CEO as well?
Yes, that would be great.
All right, let me bring it up.
Can you give some context for who this person is before we play it?
Okay, all right. So this is the CEO of Psychosocial Foundation, Zaida Fizekabi. When we started the process of making videos, we thought it would be nice if she could say a few words, because I think from the beginning of Adhunika Jr., Sid has been presenting to the whole team of Psychosocial Foundation, the board members, of what his plans were. I think he was very little when he started his first presentation, and she was among the first persons who saw his presentation. So I think a few words from her would be very important to bring it all together. So I will play it. Give me a second.
Hello, everyone. I just want to say you all are doing a wonderful job. You are our role models in Sajida. You are fantastic, fascinating. You are human, empathetic, and understand that you are the ones who can change this world. You can bring justice, equality into this world. And at this early age, you are learning and trying to be genuinely, shedding goodness everywhere. And that is what we cherish. That is what we learn from, and we are proud of. Keep up the good work, and you are really making a difference in many lives. You are our energy, and you are our future, and you give us hope and reason to move on or carry on with the challenges we face every day. So keep it up, and congratulations.
Yeah, I think we can all agree with what she said. Yeah, Sid, I'll pass it on to you.
Thank you very much for showing us that. I got a question in the chat from Arif. So you want to share?
Yes, I can ask a quick question. So my question would be, I know that you've been working on this for last few years. I just wanted to see what you think of what you learned from this whole experience.
I guess throughout the 5 years, I've learned many realities of how we can help people. It's very difficult to kind of reach out to people when there's so many factors in their lives. Um, Ideally, we'd try to help these children throughout their entire youth, but we learned that factors like parents and culture kind of prevent them from doing that many times. Um, and I also learned many sort of uh I guess undesirable realities and how we can kind of fix that. Um, our spreading awareness in the US is probably one of the more important things that I've learned is it's a lot of people here are not knowledgeable of the situation in Bangladesh. Um, and overall, I guess with my teammates as well, we've grown a lot more. We've matured and like understood that how to help some of these children who are in um, bad situations. So yes, thank you for the question.
Okay, thank you.
Farid, you raise your hand.
Yeah, I want to ask a question in between. So, I wanted to know, I mean, I did get to talk to you, but maybe you have already answered this, but I want to feel like what inspired you in the first place, you and your team, like to do this. I mean, you're so far away. You have also been like abroad for so long. I do know you have you saw the children and it did touch a chord, but what motivates you to continue to do this, and how do you find yourself like going forward, to sustain this? So what plans do you have? What drives you? I want to know that.
Um, so I guess one of something that like I think of when doing this work, when I'm like thinking like this is kind of getting overwhelming. I kind of I remind myself that these children are in a very unfair situation, and we have the luxury of being able to control our own lives, being able to partake in programs like these. So I feel that it's kind of our responsibility to help those who can't help themselves. Um, I I guess what caused me to do this is like I've always been involved with the people at Sajida, Adhunika Foundation, work very closely with other um organizations like Amra Manush before, so I always had a bit of an interest in this kind of work because of that. And generally I try to I recognize that I'm in a very privileged situation, so I should use that use my position to help others and hopefully help them have a bit of an easier life.
Thank you so much for that answer. It really inspires us to, also work towards this, and I hope it motivates, others like you and already the ones who are doing. I mean, this is an inspiration. Um, when you see, the younger ones share, like sometimes I feel like I was this active, as this active as you guys when I was younger. But it's never too late, and it's wonderful that you have that understanding and maturity to feel like this. Like as
Thank you.
our CEO has said, that empathy, it matters a lot in this world. So, thanks.
Yes, thank you very much, and I agree with her. um I think it would be a much better place if we were more understanding of other people's situations. um so trying to do it from my position is a small impact, but it's whatever I can do. Did you get the doc, Musawaya?
Yeah, I found the question finally. So there's a very important question. Like, how many people have benefited so far?
So we have a lot of people who come and go. So it's I guess yearly we've tried to help at least 120 children, or that was our third year. Um, a lot of those children left during the like for the pandemic or for other reasons with their families wanting them to come back. So overall, I think Team Adhunika Jr. has helped, I believe, 140 children, different children, but at right now we're supporting 100 children during the pandemic.
I have another interesting question. What is the ratio between girls and boys in the center?
Ooh, I know there's a lot more girls.
Where are we?
I'm gonna pass this one to Maruf Baya. If he knows.
I can actually answer
Okay.
that. It's
Right.
about, yeah, it's about like 60% girls and 40% boys, around that ratio.
Thank you.
All right. This is also a very important question. Can the audience get updates on any specific needs that kids have so they can help in a more specific way?
Well, right now the most like pressing need is with the pandemic, we can't use our normal scheduling, normal activities, so a lot of it is delivered to them. It's a bit of a more decentralized process right now. I guess we will have a bit more frequent updating since we're a bit more online heavy, so people can receive updates on the website a bit more often. And if the situation changes or if we have like a new format of providing these services, I'll make an announcement of that.
Right, thank you, Sid. So this is a question about the future of Adhunika Jr. Where do you see this project in the long run, say 5 years from now?
5 years. I I don't I haven't really thought that far in advance. I think when I started this, it was originally just going to be a 1-year project in 2015. So I didn't really expect it to go on for almost 6 years. But I'm hoping that we continue to grow and expand at this rate. You know, Adhunika Junior's reach is expanding quite a bit. The community is growing, so I'm sure that we will be able to increase the amount of children that we're able to reach, and kind of make these programs and services a bit more giving. I guess one thing I would ideally like to do is that registry or that index that I was talking about. That's I think that would be a very helpful program for the staff at Amar Manush. And I think I would probably in 5 years shift managership to someone else. Probably someone with a bit more critical thinking, hopefully. I guess at that point I'd be busy with college and stuff. I that's a good question. Thank you.
Yeah. I have another question from my end. I think someone from the fundraising team can answer it. Can you tell us about the immediate plan after the COVID situation? What is the next 1-year plan from the Amar Manush project?
So yeah, Amra Manush, we're thinking like within next couple of months, everything will be fine, hopefully. So our first challenge is like doing everything what we done before the COVID. So everything should be at the the past places where those things used to be. The members who been dropped out through the Amra Manush program, especially during this pandemic, we want to get back those members at our PDC again. And also we have few rehabilitation plans, like what I said earlier, like we're providing grants to different beneficiaries to reopen their business again, to become successful, sustainable in the long run. And also there are children who are dropped out from schools or our daycare center or our community education program. So we are trying to get back to our centers again through different awareness build-up program, and also over phone discussion, and sometimes face-to-face discussion. Our our staffs are regularly visiting their houses, their relatives. So our main challenge is like, if we had 100 kids, we want to get back those 100 kids at the very first time. And after that, we will, go up looking for, expanding our program, obviously. But at first, we want those 100 kids at our PDC again and reopen all the services which we used to provide last year. Yeah. Thank you.
I would like to add a bit more to this. So Taj has been supporting, the nutrition support. This is being continued. Like, I do not know if it has already been mentioned, in the sense like we are providing cooked foods to the children. What happens is that the children, they usually come with their mothers. In some cases, when the mothers are working, we deliver the food to their places. So this is being continued and will be continued. And in March, we are hoping, there's this news that the government is going to open the school soon. So we plan to open our PDC centers. The PDC centers, the pavement dweller centers, which we call, the Amra Manush centers, it's already being run. It's open with, the teachers. They're giving tele-education and then counseling sessions to the phone. But we could not open it, because it will be difficult to maintain the distance that is needed for this pandemic. It will not be possible. We wish we could, but it will once they start coming, it may get difficult to maintain that. So but since the government, there's a possibility for them to open the schools, we want to start the regular activities as much as possible with the precautions we can take. And we plan to provide school supplies and dresses for the children. There are a few more activities, but I'm talking about the ones which can be the most relevant to Team Adhunika. And we are continuing this child safeguarding awareness issues, but they will be done in groups on a maybe roster basis at the centers. And there was this one thing that we noticed. I think it's also applicable for most children, for everyone. Like, once you're used to something, we're creatures of habit. So what happens is that it is quite difficult as it is for to convince them to come to to attend school. Usually most parents think or feel that if they were put into work, they get a few extra money for that. So one thing that happened because of the pandemic is that the teachers are trying to keep in touch with them through the phone and to take their lessons each week. Each week they give the lessons, the other week they take the lessons from them. So we're trying to keep them in this, what do you call, that, this studies and education is important. And like as Maruf has said, it's also taking effect on their mental health as well to be at home. So we're hoping that once the schools open, we can get them all back and to keep them tracked for education, and that we do not lose many. So yeah.
Thank you, Farida. So I have a question for the team members in Minnesota. You can participate. Can you tell me how has this mission affected you personally? And what did you learn about yourself? Anyone from Minnesota can answer. Don't be shy.
This is Ishrat Shimu from Minnesota. Since no one else is saying anything, I'll just take a minute. First of all, Sid, you're doing a great job. All the kids, on behalf of the Minnesota kids, I'm saying, they all get very, I would say, energized or excited to think that they are being part of this, this great cause. And I can speak for my children. A couple years ago when, or more than that, a few years ago when we had Ekushimela and we had stalls there stall there. Many of the kids participated. And this was probably the very first time we introduced Amra Manush project to Minnesota kids or Minnesota people. And I know my son, who was much younger at that time, he actually offered to give all his Eid money to this cause. Like, can I support? Can I do something for at least one or two kids? So the mentality that Adhunika Junior team helped to grow into these kids, grow that empathy. I think it's great.
Thank you. I'm very glad to hear that.
Thank you.
I haven't actually talked to many of the Minnesota kids about this, so I'm very glad to hear input. That was a good question. Thank you, Musa.
All right, Sid, I have a question for you.
Okay.
So what advice do you have for young people who want to positively impact this world but don't know how to start? And what advice would you give someone around your age who's thinking of volunteering work?
For the first part, I would say if they want to make a positive change, they should look at some programs that are that aim to help combat injustice, and then try to mirror those ideas for themselves. And then I guess for someone my age, 16, looking for volunteer work, starting off local issues would be a pretty good introduction to this type of work. If they don't like it, they don't have to continue it. But they get a better understanding with local work. I kind of had a bit of a easier transition into this type of work because like so much of my family is already involved. So I understand that it might be a bit of a weird process for some other people to commit like a big amount of your life to this. But yeah, just my advice of starting off local, seeing if you like it, and then continuing it if you do find it rewarding. That's my final answer.
Thank you, Sid. I think that's a very good answer. I have another very important question for you now as you are getting older now. So what are your plans? Like a few members of your existing team they're getting older. What are your plans in ensuring continuity of this work as team members move on to college and other spheres? Right.
So I've actually talked about this with my team, as some of them have already started college. Two of the founding members actually this year are freshmen in college. And pretty much we've decided that while our work will be a lot more limited, we still want to be involved during higher education, and we'll try to get some of the younger members and younger siblings involved in our previous positions. I know we have a younger member here, Anahith. We're we're hoping to get her involved one day because she's very interested. So I think just passing down the momentum to our younger members would be kind of the ideal way to go about this.
Okay, I have a very specific question. Like, what are 3 things you're proud of that you were able to accomplish through this project in the last year?
Okay, that is a very specific question. You're right. So 3 things I'm proud of directly in the last year. So I think we ran a very good online social platform campaign for the COVID fundraiser. We were able to reach over 80% of that goal. So I think that was one of our pretty solid successes. It was $25,000. Another one is staying in contact with the children of Amra Manush during the COVID pandemic, and that was very good to see that they're still able to manage this. And I think third is even continuing the project at all, because at that point the pandemic shifted our system so much. But I'm very proud that the team was able to adapt and continue support for the children in a different way. So that's 3 things I'm proud of in the last year.
I'm still mute.
Can I ask? Sorry, can I ask a question? So, your visit to Dhaka was what, 2019 summer?
Yes.
So, if I ask you, like, what's one of the best memories of all the trips you have made during summer at the Amra Manush project and meeting the kids? Sorry, I should have asked enough time.
So I think I remember every time I go there because it's always a great interaction with the children. One of the times when we came back after a year, one thing that'll always stick with me is Rohima. She recognized me, and I was very taken away because I'm just like one person she met like a year ago, and she still remembered me. That was very, I guess, motivating. I think this was last year when we met her again. And I think the first experience in 2015 when we visited the centers was probably the most like that'll always stick with me. Because it was it's completely new territory for me at that time. I never saw any program like that in the past. So I was very inspired at that point. So those are probably the 2 most memorable moments from my trips.
Thank you, Baba.
I see that someone has asked that can we talk to the kids or write letters to them? Is there a way to do that?
I've personally talked to the kids in the past when we visited the centers. I'm pretty sure we can write letters to them. I'll ask the fundraising team about this. If there's any like form of contact with them with the current situation.
Right. In this situation, it will be a bit tough as they are not at our center. They're they're staying at their different houses in different places. But like hopefully by April, if everything gone fine, then they will be at the center, so we can arrange a online session. Obviously, no issues on that.
An online session would be great. We can have a lot of our supporters there, and they can ask questions they want directly.
I think done with the question from my end.
Okay.
I want to open the floor to other people if they have any other questions.
Okay. Sid,
yes.
Do you want to tell the people about the cartoon people that they want to continue when the pandemic?
Oh, yes.
And also the library.
Okay. So I guess 2 updates in that area. We're talking about our activities for next year after we're done with this fiscal year. And one of them is the work with cartoon people, which was a portion of our cultural support section. They'll continue their art seminars and their kind of teaching of the humanities. And the library talk was something we tried to do in the 3rd fiscal year. We put aside $1,000 to set up 3 libraries for each of the centers, and we talked to some of the people there, and they are very excited to work with us, which is great. Right now, there's a lot of work they have to do since they're a big publishing company for the events going on in Bangladesh right now. So once they're done with that, they'll donate these I think 300 books for the children, and that's going to be the beginning of that process.
Thanks, Sid. And also, I want to share something before. I think this is a moment you guys can, ask questions to Sid and, Farita, Maruf, and Samail, So that will be wonderful if you can do that. I just want to also thank everyone who joined tonight, and also especially thanks to Sajida Foundation, because without your help, we wouldn't be able to do this in such a short notice. And also I want to thank everyone at the Team Adhunika Jr. You guys are amazing. So I just want to tell you, and you inspire us. So keep on doing, and we are here. If you need help, we're right here. So thanks.
Thank you very much. So I think I'm gonna start ending the meeting right now. If nobody else has any questions. If you do, you can just private chat me if you don't want to speak. And again, I also want to thank the fundraising and communications teams for their help. They provide a lot of assistance with the questions and the script. And just being there in general. It was very great working with you guys.
I have a final question for Farita, Maruf, and Samael. So you guys live in Bangladesh. So how do you stay focused? I mean, you see this. I mean, I've been to Bangladesh. I live here in USA now, but you see this everywhere. So how do you stay focused? Like, how do you focus at work, but then you walk out and you see that more kids need help? So how do you maneuver all that? Because there are more kids that need, you know what I mean? It's never ending in Bangladesh, and kids that need help. So how do you handle that personally? I'm sure it affects you.
I'll begin. Yeah, I think what you said is very true. And because we see this every day, and it's always overwhelming. And I think you have to start somewhere and move on. So what we aim to do is make little efforts every day, and we focus specifically on those efforts, and we keep moving on. And we know that whatever help we are doing, we need to do way more. Not only in terms of kids, in terms of all the help that we provide to all people, marginalized people, and the kids. There's so much to do. If you spend time with them, you would realize that their potential is like limitless. The first time I went to shoot with them, I was literally blown away by how easily they could grasp what we are trying to do. So that gave me inspiration that, okay, wow, like this, whatever little we are doing, this is having such a big effect. And yeah, it is overwhelming. It is very overwhelming when you go out and see this. But the thing is, if we get overwhelmed and don't move on, there is no way to change. So every little bit matters. So I think Aitap and Maruf can have their say.
Well, Samuel explained it quite articulately. I mean, the feeling is quite similar. Maybe that's why directly or indirectly we chose to work in this sector. I mean, if you hear about my background, it was advertising mostly, and then I realized when I was there, it felt good, the work or whatever I did, the people I connected with, but it was just a one-day realization that did I want to, I mean, no offense meant to anyone who's working in different sectors. It's just I don't know, maybe it felt like a calling or something, in the sense that do I want to, pass my life away making shampoo noodles, videos and stuff like that, or do I want to do something? I mean, I think it differs from people to people. At the end of the day, the older I'm growing, what I'm learning is that it's okay, whatever we're doing. At the end of the day, however old or mature we grow, I mean, do we really grow at all? We're always evolving. So at the end of the day, it's you do see all of this and you feel like, in some way we are responsible, in the sense that for whatever reason, the resources have not been shared equally. So it is up to us to have that basic, empathy, to not lose that, to be able to sleep a bit well, knowing you're making a little bit of difference in someone's life. And it's understandable. It's not possible that you would be able to do everything for everyone. This is something that, we had to accept that. I think we're all doing. And any way we're making this world a little bit better, I think that counts. So yeah, it does You know, when we do go to the field, we also, I mean, I guess sometimes we don't get used to it, but at the end of the day, you do not really get used to it. So that's what keeps you going. That's what drives you. And that, you know, there's so much more to do. And that gives you all the reason to live more, actually, if you look at it that way, that, you know, my time is maybe limited or whatever, but I have another day to go to do something. I mean, and it goes for all of you, whatever you're doing. I mean, we are thankful to you because it's not small. I mean, I do talk to Shamla Zappa as well, and I say, you guys think we're doing a lot of things. At the end of the day, you guys are doing a lot of things as well. I mean, whatever way you're contributing, you're thinking of them, it makes all the difference. And I think we're all equal here. No one is doing more or less. So that's from my end. Marv, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, in my observation, like yeah, we can't help everyone at the same time. Maybe like in Bangladesh, we have a massive population. It's around 17 crore, and so 20% of this population are living below the poverty line. So there are plenty of them. It's true, but we started something. Maybe Sid started something, and which can motivate others to work in this way. So if everyone, started doing this, it will be very easy. It's not impossible, but only for us, it's not possible to cover everyone. But if like small things everyone started, then it's nothing. We can target 20% people. It's not a big deal. And what Farita Apu said, like uh, you know, it's really easy to make them happy with your little contribution. If you provide a kid who is a very good in painting, if you provide a pencil or pen, but like their happiness is, oh my God, they got something very, very big. So yeah, so not necessarily like you have to give everything at the same time to a kid, or your little contribution can, make a big difference to their life. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I think Rasha, you had a question, comment. Do you want to go? Ma? Go ahead.
Hi. It's not really like a question or anything, but it was more like this organization is just really fun to be a part of, and it's really engaging. And I know a lot of the kids here in Minnesota, we really like, we have fun with it, and it's like an honor to be like part of it. And I know we all like enjoy it, and it's just like something we can talk about and be like, yeah, like I did that or we did that, and it's just fun. And it was really cool that like we knew, like we got to like talk to who was like in charge and whatever. And when we first learned about it, like we were like really young, so like it's crazy to see how far it's come and how much like we can impact kids across the world. And like it kind of like opens us to a whole new world of opportunities, and like how we could help people, and like it's like an inspiration to a lot of people. So thanks.
Thank you all that you do, Ma. It's amazing. Okay. We are extremely thankful that you all are involved. Thanks.
Thank you very much. I will try to keep in contact with the Minnesota team. I've had plans to reopen or rejuvenate the team over there for a while. So before the summer, I will make sure to contact you guys through your parents, and hopefully we can start fundraising again.
I have a quick question for Sajida team. Is there any plan, or maybe you do it already, kind of work with other foundations or other organizations? Like there are Jago Foundation or similar organizations who are also doing things for kids, similar type of work. Do you ever do anything together, or do you plan to do anything together? I'm just curious.
All right. Thank you for your question. So the fundraising team is basically, we have two different tasks. One is fundraising and one is partnerships. So we do partnership with different organizations, especially with different corporates, at the same time, few foundations. Most of the foundations we work with are like the international ones, but locally, like, yeah, we have plans to work with different foundations. Like the foundation is called Center for Zakat Management. This is the only Zakat compliant organization here in Bangladesh. So we are working closely with them. We develop a guideline for how to utilize Zakat here in Bangladesh for the kids. So yeah, we're working. We started working, but yeah, we didn't work with Jago yet. But few of the organizations we're working with BRAC from the very beginning. And if you consider the INGOs, like international NGOs, like we're working with Concern Worldwide and, Kids Foundation, there are plenty of them. But locally, we didn't work with many organizations yet, but different corporates we are working. Like in Bangladesh, we have like a bank or anything, different organizations, they have a foundation attached to them, like a CSR section, corporate social responsibility. We directly work with that section. You know, kind of a win-win situation. They are achieving their targets, and we are doing our thing. So yeah. Thank you.
We do have this one organization. It's called Penny Apple. It's UK based as well. It's similar to the Amra Manush or the ones that you're supporting as well. It's mostly for orphan children, where we're providing. We're working in a partnership. We're the implementing partner. Providing non-formal education services, then mechanical, technical, or sewing, tailoring for the girls, for them to sustain themselves. Then they're also assuring that we're providing birth certificates to these children, because basically some of them, they're not even aware that they need NIDs, and also their education. So we do, this is the one partnership we have that is the most similar, I can say, that it's focused on children, but mostly orphan children, like 100 children they're supporting. So and we're also working with different organizations, as Maruf said, in the sense, because of COVID, we did get we are welcoming. We also send proposals. It doesn't matter if it's a local or international. We're not specific on that. But if it's something that is feasible, that is practical, and we can, it will get good results and also create a difference, in our country, we are working closely together. We have some projects which are like really far, in Borgona, in Jamalpur, where it's mostly focusing on water, sanitation, hygiene. There are people, it is even a shock for us. Like, we live in the city or even elsewhere in and around that, there are certain places where people do not have basic access to water. When I write the reports, because I have to write, we are all in the fundraising partnership team. Part of our work is to share proposals and also to write reports. Like, sometimes when you really sit for that, you realize that, just like you, we realize the same thing, how blessed we are. Like, we get warm water when you just turn on the shower. There are people, this particular one which touched me was, they when their women give birth to children, they have like one balti, one bucket of water which is not even properly clean, for which helps them during their pregnancy, and they have to go really far to get water from a tube well, which is not even, which is even contaminated. So it's good to see. We work together with these different organizations. They're like research team, and they all go there and inspect and see how you can provide clean water with the already existing system, maybe that one tube well, or to install more. So even then, it's still limited. At the end of the day, you realize it's still limited. Maybe they could provide, like, with their support, around 700 tube wells or fix the old ones. I mean, this is just an example, but then we're also working towards to set that as an example. We also have government support as well, but to set as an examples for others to come and to collaborate and to, to install the similar activities in other areas as well. So that's how we are working.
Great, thank you.
Thanks.
So my connection is a bit unstable. That's why I had to turn off the video. Just to add on, I'm really inspired by what Sid is doing. The fact that at his age, I was totally in a different mindset, and to see someone, being well grounded and at the same time thinking in a very holistic manner is very inspiring. This sort of inspires what I would want to do for the rest of my life. And other than that, I feel that Adhunika Jr. Has a lot of ways that we can contribute with Sajida. And going forward, we would like to see doing more fundraising campaigns, especially exploring the digital area, exploring how we can bring awareness to the program. And apart from this, I don't have anything much to say.
Thank you. I also agree. I think the digital area is very underutilized, and I think that's a very great tool that we can use to help spread the word and raise funds. But I greatly appreciate the words, the kind words. Thank you. So I think I'm gonna stop the meeting in about right now if nobody else has any questions. Again, I greatly appreciate everyone coming here, the Minnesota team, and Sajida team, and everyone else. We are made possible because of you guys, and yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So anyone else? No?
Thank you, Sue, for the great presentation.
Thank you.
We're so proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think
Thank you, everyone.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.
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 Thank you, Sid, for arranging this.
Thank you.
Yes.